Hello everybody, my name is Angry, and today we're going to be going over the Dead by Daylight January developer update and patch notes. Alright, to kick these patch notes off, we're going to be taking a look into the Clown gameplay update. The Clown is going to be receiving a new bottle this time called the Afterpiece Antidote, which is a new throwable bottle that shatters and releases a delayed yellow gas. Once the gas activates, anyone who steps in the gas, killer or survivor, gains a 10% movement speed bonus. The cloud of gas that remains is going to be very similar to the Afterpiece tonic. It's going to linger for a few seconds and then it's eventually going to disappear. Both the tonic and the antidote can be swapped by tapping the active ability button at any time. Antidote isn't just the name though. They will also cure any negative status effects from the Afterpiece tonic, so you'll want to be careful where you throw them. They may make you faster, but a poorly thrown bottle will also make the survivor run faster. But remember, if the two gases collide, they will neutralize each other and effectively disappear. One of the most important things about playing the Clown is understanding that every second counts. In the middle of a chase, having to take 5 seconds to reload your bottles could be the difference between keeping hot on the survivor's tracks or losing them completely. In order to help the Clown out in this situation, the developers have taken the reload time from 5 seconds down to 3 seconds in order to help him out a little bit in these chases. Last but not least, the Clown is going to be getting a lot of changes to his previous add-ons. There are some interesting and new combinations that are going to make gameplay a little bit more interesting for Clown players, and I can't wait to take a look at them. The next thing we're going to be taking a look at is the new and improved HUD, introducing a completely new layout aimed to keep things looking a little bit cleaner for every survivor, new and old. The first thing you're probably going to notice is the new character portraits. No longer are you going to be staring at generic blank figures on the bottom left corner trying to figure out which one is Meg, which one is Dwight, but now in the top left you're going to be seeing every survivor's portrait next to their name. In addition to these portraits, you're also going to find a hook counter. This is going to help you remember who has been hooked, who hasn't, and who can't afford to be hooked again. Killers are also going to see a meter showing their hook progress to give them a general idea of how they're doing at the time. The perks are going to be staying in the bottom right corner, generally where they were previously. And the items now, or killer abilities, are going to be presented on the bottom left of the screen. This update is also introducing UI scaling options. You'll find these new options to increase or decrease the size of the HUD in the options menu to cater to how you like to play the game. The next section of patch notes that we're going to be taking a look at is an update to the survivor animations. As the game moved towards a more realistic direction, the developers felt that it was only fitting to switch to a more realistic and fluid animations. Although the animations are going to be different, the developers have made a conscious effort to not change the movement itself. The inputs as well as the character's speed, turn rates, and acceleration are all going to stay consistent. The next change we're going to be looking at are updates to the rank reward system. Each month, every player will be given blood points based on the highest rank they reached. Because this reward system is now monthly, at the start of each month every player will be reset to rank 20. While the reward system in place is not going to be implemented immediately, the developing team are looking forward to this to reward dedicated players. Next, we're going to be taking a look at graphical updates for 2 maps, the Meat Plant and the Crotus Pen Asylum. To close off these patch notes, the developers have left us with a few miscellaneous quality of life and balance change updates. The first update we're going to be taking a look at comes with a Wraith in the form of true invisibility. In-game, survivors are able to spot the Wraith by a very faint shimmer. To give the Wraith a small boost, the developers have changed his cloak shimmer to only be visible when close by. At 24 meters and beyond, the Wraith will appear completely invisible. Between 16 and 24 meters, there will be somewhat of a shimmer visible, and within 16 meters, the Wraith will be unchanged, so the same visible shimmer that you've been used to before. The goal of this change is to make it harder for survivors to keep tabs on the Wraith while he is cloaked, while maintaining an opportunity for a survivor to react if you approach from the open. The next update we're seeing is with escape mechanics regarding the Trapper. In order to give a small boost to the Trapper's somewhat unreliable trap mechanics, The developers have decided to change the randomness of traps to more of a flat distribution when it came to escapes. Now, each time a survivor steps in a trap, it will take between 1 and 6 attempts to escape. Now, what does this mean in practice? Well, essentially, between 1 and 3 attempts, the chances to escape are lower than they were before. At 4 attempts, the chance to escape is roughly the same as before, and between 5 and 6 attempts, the chances to escape are higher than before. This is going to allow the trapper a bit more time to react to set off traps. That is all for killer adjustments, but now we're going to be looking at a bit more of status. In this update, the developers have decided to simplify deep wounds. The deep wounds timer is now 20 seconds long regardless of how it is applied. The Legion's add-ons that remove deep wound time has been significantly adjusted accordingly. To finish things off today, we're going to be taking a look at a few survivor and killer perk changes. The first perk that will be getting adjusted this patch is Diversion, also known as Pebble. This perk has found its way into the hearts of many people in spite of not being particularly powerful. So in an effort to make Diversion a little bit more powerful, they are reducing the time it takes to activate Diversion and simplifying its perk tiers to make it more usable at lower tiers. The next perk receiving a small adjustment is Fixated. Previously, Fixated only worked when a survivor was in the healthy state, but now will remain active even if the survivor is in the injured state. The next perk receiving a bit of a change is Hex Undying, a killer perk. Hex Undying is a perk that can be a bit too much to handle in some cases. Without completely reworking the Hex Totem, anytime a Hex Totem is cleansed, it will replace the Hex Undying totem. Hex Undying is then deactivated, ensuring that the first totem cleansed is never the other Hex perk. In addition to this change, any totems you've already accumulated are kept when the Hex perk transfers totems. This way you are not starting from scratch partway through the match. And finally, aura reading only applies to dull totems present on the map. The next perk receiving a small tweak was Iron Maiden. Hitting a survivor within 15 seconds of exiting the locker was somewhat difficult for some killers, so the exposed effect is being increased to 30 seconds to allow killers a bit more time to reach their target. The next perk receiving an adjustment is Open-Handed. Open-Handed makes for some interesting builds, but the low values meant that you needed to convince other survivors to stack it to see any noticeable results. In order to make the perk more appealing, the developers are increasing the aura reading range bonus to 8, 12, and 16 meters respectively, but they're removing the stacking capabilities, meaning that you can only be affected by one open-handed at a time. And the last perk to be getting a bit of an adjustment is Second Wind. The developers have decided to reduce the time it takes for Second Wind to heal you after being unhooked. Alrighty, I just wanted to take a quick second and thank you if you made it all the way to the end of this video. This was our first attempt at making a video like this, and it could not have been possible without the help of my best friend Brett. So just thank you, Brett, so much for the help, and I hope you guys really enjoyed. If you guys don't mind, we do stream on Twitch every single night, so if you wanted to drop a follow and just come hang out with us every once in a while, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. The link is in the description.